When I was taking a food protection management class my junior year of college, we had to watch a video. It was a scripted video, but it still impacted me. It was about two parents who had a child who had a dairy allergy, and they brought their daughter to this restaurant. They told them about the dairy allergy. So they're like, okay, cool, we'll leave the cheese off of the hamburger. But then they forgot that butter is a dairy product as well, and part of the recipe is to put butter on the bun that they use for the hamburger. They brought this hamburger out, the daughter ate it, and she went into anaphylactic shock, and her mother had forgotten to bring an EpiPen. Therefore, the daughter ended up dying as a result of this allergic reaction. Again, this is a scripted video, but it has impacted me ever since then, and I am so angry that allergies exist. They're so stupid, and I hate them, but we need to do everything we can to educate ourselves on allergies because they're very real, and they're on the rise, and it can be life or death. I'm already super angry about allergies existing in the first place, but then I get angrier when I consider the fact that EpiPens are outrageously expensive, purposefully. When a company bought the patent to produce the EpiPen a few years ago, they increased the price by like 700%. EpiPens expire every 2 years. It's really, really evil. There are specific proteins that people with allergies cannot tolerate. Common examples include tree nuts, peanuts, sesame, fish, shellfish, wheat. When their body receives this protein, it reacts as if it's been completely contaminated, and the body fights back. It's a whole immune reaction. Even a tiny amount is enough to cause a reaction. This immune response can result in symptoms such as nausea, wheezing or shortness of breath, hives or itchy rashes, swelling in various parts of the body, including the face, eyes, hands, or feet, vomiting and or diarrhea, abdominal pain, or an itchy throat. These symptoms can develop very quickly, and if anaphylaxis sets in, death can occur. Anaphylaxis is clearly a very serious reaction. Those with asthma are more susceptible to it. The most common allergies are milk, soy, eggs, wheat, fish, shellfish, peanuts, tree nuts. A little while back, I did create a song to help you memorize these allergens. They're going to be in my YouTube Shorts section if you need help memorizing these. In order to identify if a food has a specific allergen, it is required by the FDA for that allergen to be listed on the label. This is as a result of the Food Allergen Labeling and Consumer Protection Act of 2004. When someone is cooking in a kitchen, particles of an allergen ends up on another food that previously didn't have that allergen. For example, you use a cutting board to chop up some walnuts, and then you brush it off and use that same cutting board to chop up apples, and you give the apples to someone with a nut allergy. That is going to be called cross contact. When a food that didn't previously have an allergen now has it because it made contact with the food containing the allergen. That is cross contact. This is different from cross contamination, which is when you would use a cutting board to chop up raw chicken, and then you use that same cutting board to chop up ready-to-eat carrots. An allergen transfer did not occur, but it certainly has been contaminated. Those carrots are now contaminated, and that is why that instance is called cross-contamination, which is when pathogens jump around from place to place because we are not correctly sanitizing and cleaning our equipment in a kitchen. Lastly, food intolerances are not the same as allergies. A food intolerance is a reaction in the body that does not involve the immune system. There are many different types of food intolerances. These are very individualized. For example, I always thought that everyone got a tummy ache when they ate cinnamon, like cinnamon rolls or churros. I'm not talking just to eating straight up seasoning. I'm not referring to straight up eating the seasoning cinnamon. I think everyone would have a negative reaction to that. In fact, I know they would. Don't do that. I'm talking about just in pastries and whatnot. It would always give me a tummy ache. And I was talking to my mom about it a few years ago, and she was like, hey, dum-dum, that doesn't happen to anyone else. So that would be an example of a very individualized food intolerance. I'm not having an immune response. I'm not going to anaphylactic shock, but I get a little tummy ache. And guess what? It's worth it because cinnamon rolls are delicious. But again, another individualized aspect of food intolerances is the symptoms themselves. It's not just going to be a little tummy ache for every person. It's just going to depend. Very common food intolerances include gluten or lactose. Also, don't forget that there is no such thing as a gluten allergy. There is, however, wheat allergies and gluten intolerances. That's all I got. I am another day closer to having to take the RDN exam. I hope that this video was helpful for you in your preparation for it. If it was helpful, please like or subscribe. I will see you next time.